Hey you guys, good morning. So this is the pre-recorded version of Coffee and Create with Brenda. Today I am in Alexandria with a bunch of demonstrators from Minnesota, getting to listen and create with the wonderful Shannon West from Stampin' Up. So it's going to be a fun day, and I am going to come back re-energized and inspired and have all kinds of great ideas to share with you. So anyway, let's get started with our Coffee and Create. A couple of things, as you may or may not know, we are in the midst of celebration. We are almost a month in already. So if you haven't placed your order, get that order placed. Here is my January host code right up here. If your order is use the host code if your order is under $150 in product. And if it is over, don't add the host code, and you will still receive my host gift for the month, which is the 3D cane weave embossing folder. You've seen me use that in lots of my projects. So anyway, let's get started. I'm going to flip down to my workstation. And again, welcome to Coffee and Create with Brenda. I am Brenda Hillard. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I can be found in North Central Minnesota. Okay, I'm going to get rid of a couple of things off my screen so that you can see them well. Give me just a second. Sorry. All right, there goes that. And let's get rid of the host code. Yay! And now you can see my entire workstation. All right, well, not the entire, because if you could see the entire thing, I've got quite a mess going here. As you all may know, I have my spring retreat. The 2023 spring retreat is coming up on January 28th. We will be meeting at the Dennis Drummond Wine Company in Brainerd from 1 to 5. We have, I'm teamed up with my teammate, Sandy Mines. We have 8 fabulous cards for you. They're all using, I should say most of them are all new product from the mini catalog and some celebrations. So we look forward to seeing many of you there next Saturday, the 28th. The other thing I wanted to mention is I have a card for us today that uses the Regency Park 6x6 paper. And is what made me think of that is I had a paper share that I had somebody back out of. And so I have one paper share left. It's over 89 sheets of 6x6 paper, and you can see that I have them packaged beautifully with labels and all the coordinating colors. It's the specialty papers, the vellum, all of the designer series papers. You get one 6x6 sheet of each piece of paper. And as you can tell, there are some really beautiful papers. So if you are interested in this leftover paper share, or the extra paper share I had left, let me know. It's $35, and all of these papers come your way. Isn't this foil just it's the best? I haven't made anything with it yet because it was like, ooh, this is hard to cut. But anyway, so let's talk about today's project. Today I'm going to be using the papers from the Regency Park 6x6. This is 48 sheets. You get 4 of each, and you can see front and back. And the thing that's really nice about this is that, and I've got a couple cards laid out for us here. So it makes card making really fast, as you'll see with the sample I'm gonna do today. Coordinating colors are here, so there's lots of vibrant colors. Check that out. when I first saw it, it was like, I don't know if I'm all that crazy about it. And then the more I looked at it and started working with some of the papers, it was pretty amazing. I just want to grab a quick piece of petal pink paper. As I was looking at my sampler, just remembered that I hadn't grabbed that from the pack. So as what we'll need is our trimmer. We're going to start right here. I have my standard card base, which is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and then I creased it with my bone folder. All right, we're going to take our first piece of 6 by 6 paper, and I'm going to cut that down to 5 1/4. So I'm going to have this little strip left, save that. And then I'm going to cut it at 4 inches. So this piece is our extra, okay? But we have a 4 by 5 1/4, and then is what we're going to do is we're going to cut 1 inch off from this. So now this was just our leftover strip, and this was our 4 by 5 1/4, but I cut a strip off from it, okay? All right, now let's bring in this piece, and I want to think about this a minute. I want because I'm going to be using the back side of this as well. So I'm going to cut this at 5 1/4 again. I'm going to save my little piece over here. And now I'm going to cut this at 4. This is my extra. Extra meaning it's just leftover to use on another project. I'm moving it over to the 1 inch mark, and I'm going to cut again, okay? So now we have this. All right, there is that. And, sorry, I just have to grab I wasn't really planning on doing 2 cards, but now with looking at this, it's like, of course I want to do 2 cards. I'm going to be using Night of Navy as my ink, and I have the double oval punch, okay? I have 2 basic white envelopes, and I have a scrap piece of petal pink, and I have a scrap piece of crushed curry, and a scrap piece of basic white. And my embellishments for today's cards, I'm going to be using out of the mini catalog the adhesive backed Milky Dots. Pretty, pretty, pretty. All right. Our stamp sets are going to be the Easter Bunny, which is a bundle, a punch bundle. And I'm going to be using this little sentiment, "You're a friend like no other." I just love, love, love that sentiment. And then I'm going to be using just the happy birthday from the Best Day Cling stamp set. And this too is from the January to April mini. And of course, I would have to have a die. And what I'm using is the Scallop Contour dies. Now, if you did my In Color Club, most of you ordered the Scallop Contour dies that went with the stamp set that was included in the In Color Club. So, you more than likely have this, and I'm going to be using the stitched scallop border from that die set. Wait for it. Wait till you see what I've got. It's incredible. All right, there's my no slip mat. And look at this. Ta-da! A boho blue mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss. Guess what, you guys? If you join my team before the end of February, you can get this exclusive boho blue mini machine plus your choice of $175 in product with no shipping, free shipping, for $129. This is a $63 value. So check that out. I would love to have you on my team. I think you can talk to any of my team members to find out that I am here for you. I try to inspire you with projects and product and just fun little gatherings if you so choose. So if you choose to participate, I should say. So if you've ever thought about joining, now is a great time to join. And why wouldn't you want this adorable little blue mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss? So I'm going to set in my platform number 1, cutting plate number 2, and then I'm going to take my scrap of basic white, and I'm going to cut 2 of these because remember, I am doing 2 of these cards, right? So what I want to do is I'm just going to roll this through. Sorry about the jiggling. My placemat isn't really taped down very well, and so jiggle, jiggle. All right, so there's one border. And I'm just going to flip and do another border on this side. So let's put our little sandwich in again. Okay, our cutting plate on top. And one more time, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Remember that the minis like to have the plates staggered in order for it to move through. Sorry, I am slippy sliding all over here. Here we go. Next time I'll tape my placemat down a little bit better. Okay, so now we've cut this scalloped stitched edge twice, and we'll trim it here in just a minute so we can use it on our cards. I'm just going to roll this back through my machine, and we'll put it off to the side. It is the cutest little blue thing you've ever seen. All right, let's bring our trimmer back in. And I'm gonna put my die over here before it's stuck to the bottom of something and then I can't find it, right? All right, so being this is pre-recorded, I can't say good morning to you guys, but I will follow up and look at comments after it airs on Saturday. So if you leave me a comment, I will check for it. I will look for it. Okay, so what I want is I want this to be, for right now, I want this to be 5 1/4 inches, but I'm going to cut it at 5 1/2 and just trim off what I don't need. Okay, so now I have a piece that looks like this, and I'm going to do that same thing to this piece. Cut it at 5 1/2. All right. So there we have that. I'm going to bring in our oval punch. I want to punch one with the crushed curry, and I'm going to punch another with petal pink, and then we'll take the scrap of Oh, that's a shimmery one. I got it in the wrong spot. Scrap of basic white, our Night of Navy ink, and I'm going to stamp this little sentiment, "You're a friend like no other." I'm going to stamp one here and here. Night of Navy is one of my favorite inks to stamp with just because it's so pretty. Like, it's so crisp. I just love it. And then I'm going to bring in my card bases, and I'm going to take that happy birthday stamp from the, remember I told you about the best day? I love this little happy birthday, and you'll see it here in just a minute. And this is a cling set. But isn't that font just the cutest? So there's that. And that. So that's all of the stamping. Again, not much stamping, but I think you'll really like the layout for this and how simple it is. And the best part is you know, the designer series paper has the front and the back, and this card or this paper works so beautifully for this layout. All right, so now is what I want to do is I'm going to punch out my sentiments using the little oval in our punch. I've already punched the scallops, so now I want just the ovals. So I'm going to bring this in, kind of center it in where I want it, and punch. Same thing, center it, and punch. All right. Time to assemble. The fun part, right? All right, let's bring in one of our card bases here. I have to have a sip of coffee. It is Coffee and Create after all. Okay. So is what I'm going to do first of all is I want to attach this strip to our card. So using my stamp and seal, I'm going to put that right over here on the edge of our card. Just like that. And then we're going to put this down. And I think actually I got a little ahead of myself. So I'm going to lift up our strip, just the edge a little bit. Maybe. Yeah, I can. And as what I want to do is I just want to tuck this under. And it's going to be that little bit too long. So I want to take this off completely. And it is going to let me. Not smoothly, of course. Sorry about that. But I just want to put this on so that we have that even scallop. There we go. Now I just want to trim off this extra little bit that we left. Like that. All right, let's try this again. Adhesive. And I don't want to put adhesive over here because I want to be able to slide this one under. All right, here we go again. Putting on the border. Okay. I have a little bit of adhesive I want off from there. There we go. And then we'll take and put adhesive on here. And I'm just going to tuck this under, matching up our edges and equaling our borders. This one a lot smoother off camera, you guys. Sorry. I'm making it a lot harder than, look a lot harder than it is. Okay, so now I've got that where I want it. So you see how we get that scallop little border in there? How pretty, right? And just to hold that securely in place, I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool and a couple of glue dots. Just right under those scallops. Because you want that to stay nice while you're sliding it in and out of the envelope. All right, next I want to take dimensionals, of course I do, and add take the backings off. And I'm going to lay this down on the petal pink. Perfect. And then add adhesive to the back. And I can lay that right in here. You're a friend like no other. Happy birthday. All right, let's bring in these beautiful little milky dots. And for this one, there's kind of, these are more of a white or milky. This is kind of a purplish pink. We have the blue, and then these are almost like a yellow gold. I'm gonna try these on this card. And I really quite like it. So we'll add just a couple there to kind of help bring in that color. Now, I feel like this border isn't showing up very well at all on here, but it's gorgeous. So, very simple card. Remember, I had cut out enough for 2. And my point in showing you this is that, so all I had to do was just use the back side of this to really enhance the card. And that's the beauty of this paper. I don't know how I got ink on there, but oh, sure I did. So I think I can cover it. I'm going to try doing this in reverse this time. I think this would be easier than my first 2 attempts with this card. So what I'm going to do is put this right on my card like so. Then I'm going to take this piece and add adhesive. This is our 1-inch strip. I'm going to put adhesive along there. And then that should allow me to just put this on. Oh, you guys, this is so much easier. Look at it. Look how hard I made it on myself the first time through this video. So now is what I want to do is just cut off the excess of our border. And now I can add adhesive. And if I want to, I can just skip along here with my stamp and seal, and I won't have to do glue dots, I do not believe. And then I can set this in. Oh man, was that so much easier. Yay for me. All right, let's bring in our little sentiment here that we punched. And remember, we're going to add dimensionals to that. We'll put that on our crushed curry scallop. Add our Stampin' Seal to the back. And then we can put that right down here. And again, we'll bring in our beautiful milky dots. And should we do yellow on this one? Sure. These are just the right touch on our simple card. Love it. All right, so let's see what we've got here. Remember our little strips? All right, so here's our envelopes. And you know the deal here, right? Create with Brenda. So that it feels a little bit wide on my envelope. So let's try this. I'm going to bring in my trimmer. And this little strip should be a 1/2 inch. It's actually 3/4. So I'm just going to center that up here on my paper trimmer. I'm going to cut. So now I have 2 of those, and I'm going to do the same thing to this one. Center it and cut. All right. Let's bring in, I'm going to use liquid adhesive for this, my multi-purpose liquid glue. And I'm just going to add a very thin, whoops, my glue bottle is getting down to the empty mark. All right. I'm going to add this to the left front edge of my, or front side, I should say, of my envelope. And I'm just going to cut off that little bit of extra. So there's that. I love using those little remnants, remnant pieces of cardstock for that kind of finish on my cards. And then let's take this one and just put it right on the inside edge of our card. And then we can trim off that little bit of extra. See how that just makes such a big difference? Look on the card. And then the party continues on the outside of the envelope. All right, so there's one of our cards from this morning. And let's bring in those strips, and we're gonna do the same thing. I suppose I could have used that on the outside too, but I'll choose flowers. I'm ready for some spring weather and flowers. You hate to wish your life away, but I've had enough snow. So there's that pretty envelope. And let's fix up the inside of this card. Just like that. And that's what I was saying about this Regency Park Designer Series paper. It is so easy to work with because it's got the coordinating front and back pieces. So there's our card number 2. And then this was the card I did to figure out what I was going to do today on my pre-recorded version of Coffee and Create with Brenda. All right, so there's 3. Oh, I did do a wide strip down here. Kind of like that too. All right, so there's my 3 cards for this week's Coffee and Create, and I will be back live with you on You know what? I won't. Saturday the 28th is going to be a pre-recorded as well because that is the day of my retreat. So I will be busy setting up, decorating, and anxiously awaiting my participants' arrival. So on the 28th will be pre-recorded to my YouTube channel as well. So until next time, bye for now.